the capital, Katima Mulilo, for the State of the Region address that will be delivered by the governor, that is Madam Dorothy Kabula, this morning. Now, to give us a pre-analysis of what we can expect in the State of the Region address, I'm joined by two gentlemen that have particular insight into the regional dynamics as Namibia. We want to understand what is happening, not just at a central government level, but at a regional level. What has decentralization really meant in this country? Gentlemen, welcome. I'm joined by Mr. who is the training manager at the Zambezi TVET, as well as a former civil servant, Mr. Alfred Elukena, who is obviously experienced in terms of the regional developments, the dynamics that are happening here in the Zambezi region. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to our pre-analysis of the SORA here.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Okay. Mr. Elukena, let's start with you in terms of what's the significance of a State of the Region address, particularly for the residents of the Zambezi region.
I think, in my view, the significance of the State of the Region address is to account for the national resources that have been allocated to the region, how these resources have been used, particularly the financial resources, because the region is allocated a specific budget, and we would want to know that all the projects that were identified and to be implemented have been implemented. If not, what would be the reasons as to why they could not be implemented? So our hope is that today the governor's office is accounting for the financial resources that were allocated to this region, both in terms of the development budget as well as the capital budget. So as for the people of the region to know as to whether what was allocated was utilized to the fullest in terms of the intended intention of such allocation. So it's critical. It's a way of providing feedback and accounting to say Zambezi region got so much for the financial year 2025-2026, or 2024-2025. And this is what we used the resources allocated for. And therefore, we are able to say to the nation, everything that was given to us is now being accounted for. So I think that's the significance in as far as I'm concerned.
An important accounting exercise. Mr. Nchindo, we obviously know, given the latest census, about 70% of the population is under the age of 35. A lot of young people are particularly worried about youth unemployment. How does that affect the young people of the Zambezi region? What are the dynamics, particularly around young people and where they find themselves in this region?
Yeah, Zambezi is strategically located. We are at the corner where we are bordering almost 4 countries, which should create opportunities for the young people. But when we have youth unemployment in the region or in the nation, it means it caps economic development. The young people are the people that's supposed to boost economic aspect of this region. So we are expecting areas of the framework in terms of funding for the SME aspect for the young people, so that these people can start up with projects, especially in the rural communities where they're coming from. And secondly, those who find themselves in the Katima Mulilo city, you should also come up with projects that can sustain them for the future. But also expected in this is that we have the aspect of agriculture, which we're expecting to see in the SORA. We also expect the aspect of national security, as we are bordering the 4 corners of, the 4 countries in this region. We expect the aspect of tourism. Katima Mulilo as a town and Zambezi region as a region is strategically located here with the neighbors of Botswana, which has a major aspect of tourism in Kasane, and Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls, at the same time Zambia, Livingstone. Those are the core aspects of tourism. So we want to see how can Zambezi fit into the tourism framework of the other sister countries. So that will also create an opportunity for the young people in terms of, unemployment aspects.
As you alluded to, Mr. Elukena, this is one of the most dynamic places, not just, I think, in the country, but in the world, bordering 4 countries. What are some of the challenges when it comes to development? You're speaking about the youth challenges in terms of access to opportunities. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? Earlier on, you're alluding to issues around maybe livestock and security when it comes to these cross-border areas. Talk to us about the specificities of the challenges in this region.
I think there are numerous challenges that we face as a region. But let me first add on the youth unemployment. Sometimes one feels like our approach is that everybody has to be employed by government. Let me start from there. We should be employees of government. So in other words, all of us are supposed to be civil servants or whatever. But what we are saying or trying to emphasize for a region like this one, let's look at what the region is able to offer so that we tailor-make projects to the youth that responds to what the region's capacity is. And I think in my view, this is where vocational education becomes very critical.
But are you alluding to that there has been prior misalignment between what might be determined at a central level and it's not matched to the realities of the region?
Indeed, if you look at our education system, for instance, I think we have, every day you hear people, I've been listening the other day, they are saying there are qualified teachers that are roaming the streets. You have university graduates that are roaming the streets and what have you. All I'm saying is that all these people are roaming the streets, not because they don't have knowledge, but because they're waiting for somebody to employ them. This is where I'm going to. My argument is that somehow if we are able to create an enabling environment in which people that have skills are facilitated to be able to create that environment for them to create jobs for themselves. The tourism that he is speaking to, tour operators are not necessarily people that should come from somewhere. Our young people, if well organized, they have the ability and capacity to be tour operators, but the enablers are not there. And this is where the challenge is.
But isn't the Zambezi VTC an enabler in this context? Is there issue of maybe linking it to the market that he's talking about? Talk to us about the training, capacity building aspect as well as the linkage to the market.
All right. As a training provider, ZVTC is one of the strategic TVET provider in Zambezi, which is there to enable the aspect of skills development. So we are mandated as an institution to ensure that we give capacity in terms of training skills that are relevant to the market. The framework we are trying to address right now is the aspect of the National Skill Development Plan. If you look at the National Skill Development Plan for 2022-2026, has key priority areas which VTC is supposed to introduce to respond to the sector development plan of the country, so that we equip the young people with the right skills which are for the market. At the same time, the curriculum also is embedded in the way that we have introduced the aspect of entrepreneurship in it, where people should not look at, as our senior is talking about, looking at government as the only way of employment, but for them to start up with projects or something that can sustain them in terms of employment creation. So we need to change the paradigm to shift to the aspect of youth empowerment in the direction that these people we should create a framework as a region to where the funding of graduate of VTC can benefit from, instead of them waiting for government to give them jobs. But we will expect that to come from the speech of the governor to see what funding framework is in place to ensure that those with the right skills can be given funding to start up with different projects, not only in town, but also at the grassroots level. That is for local economic development.
But that's interesting in terms of what Mr. Ilukana is alluding to in terms of a shared responsibility and maybe that a greater burden in terms of human development and regional development is placed on public resources and it might be strained in that context. So what do you say to other players like civil society, like the private sector? Why do they need to come on board when it comes to issues of development in the region?
I think a coordinated approach would be very useful in this setting. I personally, based on my experience, I've always alluded to the issue of silos, and it hurts me to think that we each look at ourselves as silos. You know, what government does and private sector, civil society, these are not supposed to be disconnected. They're supposed to be working together because we aim at developing the same. But if I'm a private sector, I see what government is doing, and then I exclude myself from those aspects, and I say those are for government. I'm in the private sector. I'm not interested in developing human resources. I'm in the I'm a civil society. I only confine myself to this aspect and not necessarily the others. If we want to move forward, it's to look at how do we synergize, because all of us are involved in the same activities. We want to develop Namibia.
But how does the governor's office, for instance, play a key role in that?
Coordinating. I think the governor's office is the lead office, and it's supposed to look at what do I have in my region? Who are the players in my region? Yeah. How do I bring them together so that we create that synergy that enables us to pull our limited financial resources together, skill resources together, so that in the end we have a basket of skills and financial resources from which we can draw when we need human resources. So if a system is training, it's not training for government.
Yes.
It's not training for, to work in the ministries. Yes. It's training to develop Namibia. And who is Namibia? It's all of us. Okay. Private sector, be it private sector, government, or civil society. We all draw from the same basket. So we should be able to contribute to say, what is it that we need? So I see the office of the governor as being the lead coordinating office that looks at what is my region's deficit, whether it be it in skills or whatever, and how do I bring everybody to the table so that we can sit and come up with a strategy that enables us to address the issues as a united front, because in the end, that's where the benefit lies.
Ms. Benga, your contribution towards the role of the governor's office, particularly maybe when it comes to young people and addressing their plight?
Yeah, in terms of governance of the region, the young people must be involved. They should be consulted. They should be heard. The regional leadership should understand what are the needs of the young people in the region. And they should create a platform, whether it's community hall meetings, whether it's consultation in different spheres that we feel can yield results. The young people need to be heard. The leadership need to understand the direction they want to go. Those perspectives, as they come in one ground, it means we have a common ground in terms of development. There will be a collective effort in terms of development. But when they are left out, who are the masses in the region, who's supposed to drive the economy, it means to create a gap between the two spheres. So the civil society is so critical that all the components must be involved to play these cards. If they are left out, development will be moving at a lower space.
As a developmental stage, as a state that is obviously in the process of developing, we know that issues of poverty, inequality, unemployment really affect the people in terms of the role, this being a republic, the people's country. How do we ensure, again, like you were saying, that what the president spoke about in the national development plans, that those objectives become executed at a regional level?
I would argue to say, somebody once referred to our country as being one of the beautiful countries where you have your policies nicely articulated, but where we fall short is the actual implementation or realization of those policies. Because if we were to ensure that they are implemented, they really stand a good chance of in transforming our country. But the issue that we are looking at here is, for instance, you are talking of the governor's office. My view of the governor's office would be that I link it with the president. The governor is the president of the region. The regional council is his cabinet or her cabinet. I look at the chief regional officer as the accounting officer of the governor in this government. I look at the chairperson of the management as being equal to, say, for argument's sake, prime minister, because he's heading the other councillors. But where does development happen. The whole issue of bringing together, coming with the principle of decentralization, I know we are still at the delegation phase. By now, given where we started from, I would have argued to say we are at devolution, but we have been avoiding devolution. So what happens is that, for me, the critical component is the regional council, because that's where it's closer to the people. So if we focus on how to bring up the regional, the constituency level, because each constituency, if you take the constituencies that we have in Zambezi, if each constituency has a structure and a strategy to look at what is happening in my constituency and in which areas I should focus more so when I'm dealing with the young people, and you are able to address it as a constituency councillor, you are aligning it with your manifesto and the programs of government. In the end, when you bring all these constituencies together, then a picture of the region is emerging. My argument still remains to say, if I'm in the constituency and I'm operating as a councillor, disconnected from what is happening in my constituency, including the role of civil society, I see myself as a politician, then there's a problem, because I'm supposed to be playing the role of enabler. I create an environment in which I'm saying, who are the business people here? Who are the civil society? What is lacking in my constituency? How do I bring all these people together so that we can all contribute to the same? Young people, I bring them on board. Business people, I bring them on board. And together, as the leader of that constituency, we are then able to, But otherwise, if we keep saying, I'm a councillor, or I'm a region, or I'm what, and therefore my role is this, then we are missing the point.
But that's interesting, because Namibia also tends to have a high attendance for national elections, but very low for regional elections, for local authority elections, and which could then, obviously, talking about accounting and accountability, means that people hold people that are in leadership positions at a regional council, at a local authority, to less of a degree, to less of a pedigree, to an extent when you look at, for instance, the turnout numbers for regional local elections, and it happens to be the year for that. Speaking about that connection, why is it then important for people of the Zambezi region to make sure that they participate in our democracy, even by participating in regional and local authority elections?
Elections is a democratic right, and that gives you an opportunity to put your voice in terms of decision making. Therefore, but it's good that the regional leadership, not only the regional leadership, but also the councillors at the constituency level, they should ensure that they talk to their people so they understand the need to vote.
Oh, but the question is, does a lack of participation lead to a lack of accountability?
Lack of participation of the people not to vote is because they tie it with accountability. When they are voting, they are giving these people a sense of responsibility to say, you are going to be accounting officers, our accounting officer from the constituency level to the regional leadership and to the national leadership. But if they don't see that coming back, it means they start to pull out. So this is why you see people may register to vote, but the turnout in terms of actual voting is low, because these people, they feel they might not be electing the right people. But that can be shifted if the regional leadership get involved and reach the grassroots level, so that they make themselves available to the voters at all times, not only when there's voting time.
Okay.
And as you look at the national platform right now, some people will be saying, this year is an election year for the regional constituency councillors. This is the time they'll be seeing them for the first time, some of them, especially the floodplain areas. So we want those people to be visible there, even when there are no elections, because they have a mandate to execute their duties for the benefit of the Namibian people.
So,
let me just add here to say, look, somehow one is tempted to think that in terms of our act, you see, regional councillors or constituency councillors are elected by the party, right? This is our structure. So the party identifies from within itself, after people have competed within the structures. Eventually someone emerges and say, okay, the top 10 or so, these are the candidates. So this is where you are going to pick who becomes a councillor for which constituency. And that person is voted and put there. The problem is, if you are not accountable to the people that you serve, but rather accountable to the party, then you develop these wings where you don't listen to your community because you know they can't remove you from the position that you currently occupy. The only person who can remove you is your party.
So we need to then cultivate a culture where we are accountable to people.
Indeed.
In leadership.
Councillors should be accountable to the people because they elected them and they should be able to remove them. Yes. If you are not performing, I should be able to say, you are recalled, we don't want you.
Any closing remarks, gentlemen? I think we're about to cross over.
All right. I think from my side, the expectation for the SORA is more of understanding the framework of funding for the young people of the region. How can they be funded in terms of SME developments? How can these young people be empowered in terms of rural economic development? How can these young people be able to get the grip of the economy of this country? You know, this is the direction that we want to see in the SORA. At the same time, the aspect of tourism, Zambezi Vocational Training Center, the TVET provider, has the aspect of hospitality and tourism. These sister countries can be able to help in that regard. UNAM has also an aspect of wildlife management, which also can give us an understanding in terms of creating an atmosphere for Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Angola for the benefit of the child.
So, Mr. Lekena, you're talking, especially when it comes to the dynamic or the dynamic nature of being bordered with 4 countries. How can Namibia focus a lot? We know, in the past there was issues with security, livestock, cattle grazing, crossing borders. What needs to be strengthened in that area?
I think this has been a challenge, but we also want to appreciate our security cluster because they have been doing a good job. This is a very porous border. You have so many crossing points. It's not easy to ensure that security is maintained and that nothing goes wrong. We are not, we have neighbors, but we are not the same in terms of access to resources and so on. So you have some people here, what really troubles us, you find a lot of our animals being stolen, and it takes a while to recover them, and even when you do, there's still some delays because they have to be quarantined and so on. But you also have our rivers, because these are common rivers. So fishing, there are some that will do overfishing and so on. So it's a challenge. But we are very happy that, with the former governor, which we hope this current governor will also continue, they have created structures that are coordinating across borders, like our cluster coordinating with the Zambian authorities to ensure that the border between Zambia and Namibia is secure. We also have the same arrangement with Botswana. We hope that these structures, if strengthened further, they will be able, because they stand to benefit the bordering countries. In Botswana, you remember way back, we had an issue of poaching. And who were the poachers? People associated with our country, poaching in Botswana. In Zambia, we have cattle wrestlers. Who are the people that are associated with cattle wrestling? Are from Zambia. So none of these surrounding countries are, innocent of a crime or so associated to the security of the regions. So it's critical that these sectors, the clusters that have been formed, perform those functions to ensure the citizens of Zambia, the citizens of Namibia, the citizens of Botswana, that they are safe, their properties are safe, they are protected 24 hours around the clock. And this is what we would want to see the current governor continuing on that route that the former governor has started with.
Just on the issue, of land management and security management, another issue that keeps on coming up is human-wildlife conflict. How does the government better ensure that communities not just, look at it from a conflict perspective, but are able to benefit from having to live with wildlife?
Yeah, you know, we have establishment of the conservancies in our local communities, which gives an opportunity for the ministry, line ministries, to do an aspect of benefit analysis. Recently, we have seen the minister announcing in terms of increase in wildlife conflict benefits for those people who lose their animals, livestock to...
If you can just round up, I think we're ready to cross over.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Well, there you had it, Namibia. There's many issues happening here in the Zambezi region, a region that's got 142,373 inhabitants, 46,401 here in Katima Mulilo. It's known for the mighty, majestic Zambezi River, but now we're ready to hear from the governor, that is Ms. Dorothy Kabula, who is going to be doing the State of the Region address. The national anthems are starting to play. Let's cross over.
Usihu, can you give us a prayer?
Let's bow our heads as we pray. Tata sheme lato itumezika kulimu vavalezi mana kwa usihu mo upilo wao na loizi mo alikaya mana. Tata sheme lato wa itumela kakuli mu vonisizeka nyaliza zelami na ledicha. Tata sheme lato kilu na valu kopanifa kubona kuli kili angambolo manyika palikaloze kodekweza hala mwaski sana sa Zambezi. Mane chalo dikulela kuli siaba sauna sikapila kwa tata sheme lato muvane niluna Amen.
We can get seated. Let me call the House to order. I'm calling the House to order. And we form a quorum, honorable members. We can now proceed with our special council meeting. Let me welcome the honorable members who are present here. Honorable Sisamu, the councillor for Kabenos constituency. Honorable Kavunga, the councillor for Linyanti constituency, and the member of the management committee, Honorable Lukaizi, the councillor for Sbinda constituency and a member of parliament, Honorable Divide, the councillor for the Boloma constituency. Honorable Smasiku, the councillor for Katima Urban constituency and a member of parliament. Let me welcome the newly elected councillor for Kabula South constituency, who replaced Honorable Johnny Likando, who went to the National Assembly. Honorable Sezuni, Raymond Sezuni. Let me welcome Honorable Usiho, the councillor for Kongola constituency and a member of parliament. And I would like also to recognize the presence of our newly appointed governor, who was appointed on the 1st of July, the 1st of July, is the governor of the Zambezi region, Honorable Dorothy Kabula. Let me congratulate you for your appointment as the first female governor of the Zambezi region. Moreover, remember, Honorable, the governor of the Zambezi region is my wife. So, honorable wife, you should feel happy. You should feel happy. You were already welcomed by the honorable councillors when you were appointed as the governor by the head of state and the governor for Zambezi region. You should feel happy. You are the female governor now. All along it was only male governors, but now we have got a female governor.
Thank you.
Without wasting time, as we are required by Article 110 to allow the governor to address the region. Honorable Governor, without wasting much time, I have already welcomed a council, as I've said earlier, that is a special council meeting, to allow the governor now to address the residents of the Zambezi region. Honorable Governor, now the floor is yours. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and good morning, everyone. Honorable Matengu Smushi, Chairperson of Zambezi Regional Council, Your Worship John Tema, Mayor of Katima Town, Honorable Regional Councillors, our former Governor Lawrence Sampofo, Honorable Local Authority Councillors, Honorable Village Council Councillors, Chief Regional Officer, the Regional Commander, Chief Executive Officer, esteemed traditional authority leaders, heads of institutions, fellow political leaders, member of business community, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to take this prestigious opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the Honorable Chairperson and the entire Zambezi Regional Council management for upholding the mantle of leadership in the Namibian House. As I take this noble responsibility from Honorable Sampofo, who served and paved the way for the past 14 years, I do so with a deep sense of gratitude and commitment. I hope to do justice to this assignment and the honor trust bestowed upon me as I deliver in my tenure the first State of Region address. I would also like to extend a warm gratitude to the Local Authority Council, Village Council, traditional authorities, ministerial officers, NGOs, and all stakeholders for the unwavering dedication to the pursuit of economic development. Let me take a brief moment to congratulate councillors who rose to new position and additional assignment, and in the same manner congratulate Honorable Sezuni, the newly elected councillor for Kabula South constituency. I wish each of you a prestigious and fulfilling journey in your new roles. Honorable members, distinguished guests, we are gathered here to fulfill a solemn constitutional obligation in accordance with Article 110A, subsection 5 and 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia to deliver the State of the Region address as guided by National Development Plan 6, NDP 6, and the SWAPO Party Manifesto. This address stands as a cornerstone of democratic governance, transparency, and accountability. It serves to inform both the residents of the region and the nation at large about the progress achieved, the challenges encountered, and the vision that lies ahead for regional development. Distinguished guests, the region recorded numerous economic developments through government and non-governmental organs in the execution of land projects and the programs aimed at uplifting the livelihood of the community. I would first highlight on the security status of the region. The region remained calm and stable during the year under review. The law enforcement agencies continued to execute their mandated responsibilities, focusing on the reinforcement of law and order, crime prevention, and the protection of lives and property to maintain peace and security within the communities. To combat crime activities, 26 operations were conducted, which resulted in the arrest of 349 individuals for various offenses ranging from murder, stock theft, illegal migration, transportation of prohibited goods, and other illicit activities posing threat to public safety. Bearing historic zones where the liberation struggle took place, unexploded ordinances remain a concern and poses danger to the inhabitants. To address such, the Explosive Control Subdivision carried out a national debushing operation and reaffirmation activities along the Namibia-Zambia borderline between Beacon 9 and 7. The successful delivery of above-mentioned was made possible through the existing established structures within the region. I am pleased to report that a number of projects on infrastructure development commenced to supplement existing facilities for better services delivery. These include the established and the construction of the Greenwell Matongo Police Station, Class A, which is progressing well, and the successful establishment of the 3 satellite police stations located at Mahohoma, Choto, and the New Cowboy, all of which are now operational, overwhelmingly. The construction of large-scale Zambezi Civic Affairs Regional Office commenced and is making steady progress, targeted to be completed in May 2026. Strategically located along the Zambezi, Chobe, Linyanti, and the Kwandu rivers, the region maintains 16 border and infrastructure protection division outposts to safeguard national boundaries and support law enforcement efforts. The Impalila Immigration Crossing Point at Machenje and the civil registration and immigration offices were established, significantly enhancing effective and efficient cross-border management. Additionally, the groundbreaking for the Home Affairs offices at Kasika was successfully conducted. Once completed, this will provide essential government services to the local population and beyond. The importance of maintaining a robust security infrastructure in the region cannot be overstated. We therefore have high hopes that all projects initiated during the year under review will be completed without delays in order to enhance security services and create a safer environment for residents, investors, and tourists. Without effective security measures in place, sustainable development is impossible, as security forms the foundation upon which economic growth, social stability, and infrastructure progresses are built. Equally, insecurity disrupts daily life, discourages investment, and erodes public trust in governance. Distinguished guests, the improved security environment enabled the successful execution and the completion of other capital projects and the delivery of essential services to the community. Therefore, I would proceed to highlight more on implemented infrastructure development. The education sector, which is the backbone of the development of human capital, made commendable strides in improving the learning environment by renovating and constructing classrooms in identified schools. I'm pleased to report the successful establishment and the completion of Choto Primary School with 16 classrooms and ablution facilities, which officially opened its doors to learners during the reporting period. For a fair distribution across the region, the renovation and the construction of classrooms were allocated in areas that were still lacking. The following schools were approved with the construction of 4 classrooms each: Kayuo Primary School, Mafuta Combined School, Kasivi Primary School, Sanjo Secondary School, Liswani 3 Primary School, and the Linyanti Combined School, while 3 classrooms were constructed at Zilitene Primary School. The construction of boundary fences through donor funding was completed at Mbilajwe Combined School and the Kakirampepo Primary School. During the previous State of the Region address, progress was reported on construction of hostels at Shumansbeck and the Ndoro Memorial School. I stand to report that both projects have now been completed and the Shumansbeck Hostel was officially inaugurated and ready to accommodate learners who for so many years have endured harsh conditions due to a lack of proper accommodation. Allow me to extend our gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China for the successful completion of Masokotwani and the Liselo schools and the hostel facilities. This generous support is a significant milestone in our collective efforts to ensure that no child is left behind when it comes to access to education. The 2 state-of-the-art facilities located in rural areas were officially handed over during the year under review, and they will go a long way in transforming the lives of learners. The improved educational infrastructure has significantly enhanced the learning and teaching environment which played a role in the academic performance that improved from position 8 to position 6 nationally. We remain steadfast in our commitment and aspire to attain even greater progress in the current financial year. The higher education sector recorded a significant achievement through the completed and inaugurated infrastructure of UNAM's Department of Wildlife Management and Ecotourism in Katima Mlilo. This milestone was made possible through substantial support from government of the Federal Republic of Germany, facilitated through the KfW Development Bank. The completed campus signifies growth and investment, offering enhanced opportunities for quality training and practical learning experiences. It empowers local and regional students while supporting sustainable conservation and tourism development across the SADC region. Since its inception in 2013, the new faculty has introduced 5 programs and has thus graduated 63 students. Dealing with a population of 142,000, the region is still depending on the operation of 1 district hospital, 3 health centers, 27 health care clinics, and 51 outreach points. Significant progress was made in a health sector, which is marked by the construction of a new dental unit at the cost of $9,560,953.69 and stand at 70% towards completion. The creation of dialysis unit was completed and currently awaits the installation of medical equipment. Progress within the Katima Mlilo Hospital are notable, but we still call upon the Ministry of Health to prioritize the upgrading of the hospital to intermediate level, as many lives have been lost in the process of transferring patients to Rundu or Venduk. The construction of Malengalenga Clinic and the upgrading of Linyanti PHC were successfully completed and inaugurated during the year under review, while the renovation of Isize Primary Health Care was finalized as scheduled. Although delays were experienced due to contractor-related issues, but Tubaja and the Sachona PHC projects are nearing completion. The previous interrupted construction of the Muzi Primary Health Care Facility is back on track, with the procurement team currently finalizing the tender documentation. Human capital was realized through the filing of 264 healthcare positions, comprising of 188 nurses and 21 medical officers. The judiciary sector, which operated in a clustered environment over the years, officially opened doors to the newly constructed Katima Mlilo Magistrate Court Office. The facility comprises of 2 classrooms, administrative blocks, holding cells, consulting rooms, and a general public waiting area. development in rural electrification initiatives, the road networks, town growth, housing and the water infrastructure were realized. Therefore, rural electrification initiatives made significant advances, and the following areas were electrified. Our 4 traditional authorities, Kalumba Electrification Project and the 40-kilometer of Kongola Masambo project were commissioned and completed in Katima Rural and the Kongola constituencies. Further electrification advances were made to residential areas of Kongola and the Bukalo Sheikh Dwela, as well as Nampengu village. The electrification work for Ikava Combined School and the Sunda Primary School, which stopped due to floods, will commence as soon as flood waters regress. These programs formed part of the broader effort aimed at enhancing the living standards and promoting economic development, particularly in rural communities across the region. The road infrastructure sector recorded notable progress with the successful completion of internal road networks and a floating docking jet in Impalila, Iceland. This has reinforced mobility and safe delivery within the area. The Izimwe Nakabole Dakasika Road project, which commenced early, was temporarily put on hold due to rising flood waters. Construction activities will resume once water levels subside. Other ongoing projects, including the access road from Masida and Makanga, which is progressing steadily, and the road works in Masida, in Sibinda, and Sangwari are at advanced stages. These developments are critical for unlocking economic potential, improving tourism flow, and enhancing service delivery in remote and flood-prone areas. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, notable infrastructure developments were realized through land servicing. The water infrastructure expansion in Kongola progressed with the successful completion of 5 cubic meter ground tank and a 2,500 cubic meter elevated tank, bringing the total storage capacity of 7,500 cubic meters. This critical investment aims to ensure a more reliable and sustainable water supply system for communities in areas addressing long-standing challenges related to water, accessibility, and pressure. Planning and surveying in Sangwari and Chinchimani progresses slowly due to compliance with the Communal Land Reform Act, Act No. 5 of 2002. After considerable delays, the Zambezi Communal Land Board supported the developments and has thus made recommendation to the Minister of Agriculture for approval. The construction of effluent treatment plant at Ngoma was completed with the aim to manage sewerage reticulation for various government facilities at the border post. The connection of remaining infrastructure will be carried out during the financial year to enhance the region's sanitation capacity. During the reporting period, the region recorded progress in the expansion of network coverage, both radio, broadcasting, and mobile network services. The launch of Impalila Island Tower was realized, a milestone to improve access to information and the broadcasting services. Town development plays a vital role in social, economic, and environmental well-being of the region. Well-developed towns attract businesses and investors, creating jobs and stimulating local economies. Therefore, Katima Mulilo Town Council thrived in some areas to ensure that our town provides an environment which is conducive to its residents through deliverables such as housing and other urban essentials. The following were achieved: donated land to local association for development of over 300 houses with an investment of 20 million. Partnered with NHE on a 546 housing project. The site was handed over and the servicing is ongoing. Facilitated Novice Companies 246 house development with worth 10 million, with anticipated annual revenue of 1.2 million, secured NAMSOPOL's approval for a 350 houses initiative expected to yield 3.3 million. Donated 17 hectares of land to the Ministry of Youth, Sport and the National Service. Katima Town further required 7 hectares of land from the Mafwe Traditional Authority for the development of a new dumping site. We appreciate our TA for their involvement in development. The formalization of Makaravan West stands at 80% completion, while the water supply system at Nova was improved. The rerouting of 2.4 kilometers of water sewerage network, which previously served the CBD, was realized at a cost of 14 million. The town's bulk services master plan and the construction of water infrastructure services at extension 30 was completed. The rehabilitation and the construction of stormwater channels was undertaken at a cost of 6 million. Wukalo Village Council recorded progress through land surveying, which focused on water and the sewerage reticulation in Extension 1, standing at 80% completion rate. The sewerage line for first capital investment was successfully connected to the main treatment plant. In the housing sector, the construction of 27 houses under Sheikh Dweller Federation commenced. Additionally, Council approved the development of 300 more houses under the Sheikh Dwellers Federation in partnership with the Ministry of Mines and Energy. The Council made provision of plots to 5,000 community members for housing construction under the Build Together project, reinforcing its commitment to inclusive and affordable housing development. Connecting socio-economic gaps. Social progression programs were undertaken to help reduce social tensions, promote peace, and encourage mutual respect among diverse communities. Therefore, the Zambezi Regional Council embarked on construction of the 203 ventilated improved pit VIP toilets through the rural sanitation program at the cost of 2.9 million, targeted 7 rural constituencies. This intervention forms part of a broader strategic effort to eliminate open defecation and promote safe and dignified sanitation practice. The provision of improved sanitation not only enhances public health and hygiene, but also contributes significantly to environmental protection and the well-being of the people. During the reporting period, water infrastructure advanced to ensure access to potable water. 22 boreholes were drilled in strategically identified locations, while 12 existing boreholes were rehabilitated to restore their functionality and increase water output. While the installation of 15 boreholes and the rehabilitation of 8 existing water points across the region was achieved. The construction of 8 short water pipeline extensions and the repair of 105 boreholes with preventative maintenance on 30 engines as well as 48 solar and electrical pumps was achieved. With the increasing population and the people migration, 246 new water points applications were received and surveyed during the year under review. Addition to the high demand of water, the water tanker continued to supply water to communities in the rural areas on emergency calls to institutions rendering basic services. Social development programs were recorded through offices, ministries, and agencies. I am pleased to report that the Division of Civil Registration continued to fulfill its mandate effectively. During the year under review, a total number of 5,404 births, male and female, were successfully registered. This achievement reflects commitment to timely birth registration in the growing population. The above figure includes late birth registration captured through mobile outreach to ensure that every child is accounted for and granted the right to identity and citizenship. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform successfully implemented a range of agronomic and value chain support programs to improve agricultural productivity, sustainability, and food security. The rain-fed agronomic subsidy program was implemented through the dry rain crop production and benefited 622 farmers at a cost of $2 million. The National Horticulture and Value Chain Support Program provided farm inputs and capacity building for small-scale horticulture producers, which benefited 10 farmers at the cost of $700,000. 10 farmers benefited from the poultry value chain program, assisted with breeding stock, veterinary treatment, feeds, incubators, feeders, and the poultry housing materials. To address land degradation, support climate change, and promote sustainable crop production, the ministry provided support to 355 farmers through the Comprehensive Conservation Agriculture Program. 622 farmers were assisted through the Namibia Agriculture Mechanism and the Seed Improvement Project, co-funded by African Development Bank. There is a limited progress to report on the region's only green scheme, the Kalimbeza Rice Project. The project has 229 hectares fenced, but only 150 hectares is suitable for irrigation. During the year under review, 38 hectares was planted, which yielded 77 tons of high-yield rice and 30 tons of super rice. We remain hopeful about improving productivity on the project and will engage with the line ministry to ensure that progress is made. I indicated after my appointment as a governor that agriculture will be the area of focus, so Zambezi can stand to feed the nation. Social welfare and the protection. The Ministry of Defense and the Veteran Affairs, in line with its mission to provide social and economic support to veterans, implemented programs such as once-off gratuity, monthly subvention, and others. During the year under review, 6 newly retired veterans were approved for the monthly subvention, while 2 veterans received approval and the payment of once-off gratuity. These grants were mechanisms that enables members of the liberation struggle to engage in sustainable initiatives to improve their standard of living. Progress was made in advancing youth and the women empowerment through targeted livelihood support programs. A total of 9 projects were successfully funded under the microfinance program, while 4 projects received support under the Cash Food for Work program. In parallel, the Food Security and the Nutrition program supported 5 projects. These initiatives collectively supported a range of economic activities, including livestock farming, catering services, poultry production, and horticulture. This program provided short-term employment opportunities and facilitated skills development to beneficiaries, contributing to community resilience, income generation, and food self-sufficiency. The Ministry of Gender strengthened and expanded social protection. In this case, 7,682 old-aged are receiving grants, while 2,198 are receiving the disability grant and 130 are on temporary disability grants. The introduction of the conditional basic income grant of 600 Namibian dollars in Katima Urban and the Bukalo settlement has provided support to 917 beneficiaries. During the reporting period, programs were implemented to empower communities, promote entrepreneurship, and support vulnerable groups. The intervention focused on skills development, financial support, and practical training. 8 beneficiaries benefited from the income-generating projects whereby equipment and materials worth 77,000 were provided to support and expand their small businesses. Allow me to further report that non-governmental organizations and the private sector continue to play a meaningful role in uplifting lives through their corporate social responsibility initiatives to advance youth empowerment. The Rani Group of companies extended financial support to 5 students currently enrolled in various higher education institutions to ease the financial burden to deserving learners. In a similar effort, Tulipopamba Training and Assessment Institute has committed to support 10 students for a period of 2 years, strengthen access to tertiary education for disadvantaged youth. These interventions reflect commendable partnership that complement government efforts in building human capital and fostering inclusive development. Economically, the region, through operations of NAMRA and the Ministry of Environment and Tourism, has made significant contribution to our economy and they played a vital role in improving the living standards of the community. Strategically situated at gateway to other SADC countries, the region serves as a hub for trade facilitation, creating valuable opportunity for the revenue collection. Statistics indicated a notable increase in a volume of cargo passing through the Katima Mlilo and Ngoma border post via the Vaus-Beindola-Lumbumbashi development corridor. During the year under review, import values reached a record of 71 billion, while export values stood at 20 billion, an increase from 52 billion and 13 billion respectively. Given the region's geographical positioning, all border activities have recorded substantial increases in revenue. This surge in trade serves as a strong indicator for the government to fast-track the implementation of the One-Stop Border Post initiative. Significant progress was made on establishment of Katima Mlilo One-Stop Border Post project, marked by the signing of the bilateral agreement. A consultant was appointed to provide the necessary consultancy services. Efforts to facilitate this initiative is ongoing to ensure its successful implementation, as it is expected to enhance trade, create employment opportunities, and contribute to the regional economic development that will broaden Namibia's trade muscles. Our 15 conservancies and 1 association played a vital role in promoting sustainable natural resources management, biodiversity conservation, and the community development through, though there was a decrease as compared to the previous financial year, and the conservancies generated 30,628,074.70. This still demonstrates the potential for conservation-driven economic growth. Conservancies provided awards totaling to 2,346,920.35 directly benefiting local communities and reinforcing the importance of community-led conservation initiatives. An amount of $6,205,512.98 was invested in different community projects as per community development goals. The region has a unique geographical and economic position that requires the facilitation of dynamic cross-border cooperation. Strengthening internal engagements with neighboring countries is vital to enhance regional integration, trade facilitation, infrastructure development, and a shared resource management. The region maintained cordial and productive bilateral engagements in areas such as transboundary water management, animal disease control, tourism promotion, and the trade corridor development. These engagements contributed to not only to mutual economic growth, but also peace, stability, and people-to-people cooperation. We thank our government for broadening foreign policies which drives mutual cooperation, that we are at peace with our sister countries. That being said, the Memorandum of Understanding between the Zambezi Regional Council and the Chobe District Council of Botswana to formalize the long-standing cross-border cooperation was realized. The agreement aimed to enhance collaboration across 6 key areas such as environmental conservation and the natural resources management, tourism development, and the promotion economic and the trade cooperation, joint infrastructure development, and the service delivery, cultural, community enhanced programs, security, and the disaster management. Another mutual action was taken between Zambezi region and the Zambia's Western Province administration, responding to cross-border irregularities that were at the verge of posing death threats to communities living along borderline. The Zambian authorities were officially informed of the escalating livestock theft along the shared border. During the reporting period, 184 cases of stock theft were recorded, which involved the loss of 614 cattle, estimated at value exceeded 3 million. The law enforcement and the cross-border cooperation management to recover 299 cattle valued at more than 1 million. It is unfortunate to report that 336 cattle worth more than 2 million were not recovered. These border crimes prompted the need to register the concern with the Zambian authorities, and we are confident that collaboration shall continue between the border lines between the borderline regions to curb such activities and maintain peace. Despite the notable progress achieved across various sectors, the region continues to face a number of persistent and emerging challenges that require coordinated responses. These challenges hinder development efforts, impact service delivery, and affect overall well-being of our communities. It is therefore important to acknowledge them, as doing so allows us to develop targeted strategies for meaningful improvement. Lack of truck port infrastructure. There is a crucial need for a dedicated truck port to alleviate congestion and improve the efficiency of cross-border trade and the transportation. The porous border security. The porous nature of the border continues to pose a significant challenge, facilitating illegal cross-border activities such as smuggling and unauthorized movement of people and goods. Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reform continues to experience several operational constraints such as lack of transport to support extension services, shortage of human resource, delays in receiving national agricultural inputs, adverse natural disasters such as floods, outbreaks, and recurring droughts. The malfunctioning of the processing machine at the Kalimbeza Rice Project often delays the processing of the harvested rice. Water quality issues at Ngoma border post. The pressure of the salt water has negatively impacted the operations and the performance of several border enforcement and services agencies. Inadequate network coverage, poor network reception in the border undermines effective communication and the service delivery. The road infrastructure plan has faced slow progress on the Ngoma due to roads realignment phase due to compensation to affect residents. Silumbisi-Zumbukwa Road faced environmental factors affecting the pace to implementation, while Izimwe Nakavo-Lakasika construction was started as scheduled. However, the project stopped due to floods. The Ministry of Environment Forest faced challenges in the implementation of compensating affected farmers' community, which are often delayed, and in some cases, payment not done over human-wildlife conflict claims. Looking on a planned activities for 2025 and the 2026 financial year, the region has outlined developmental programs aimed at accelerating service delivery and promoting inclusive growth. Building on the progress made, the region is grateful to implement key capital projects and the programs with a strong focus on improving livelihoods and unlocking opportunities. These efforts are aligned with our strategic goals and the National Development Agenda. The food security. The region plans to utilize the available land for the establishment of green schemes. Funds have been allocated to rectify deficiencies at Kalimbeza rice projects. The projected transition of Katima Mlilo District Hospital to an intermediate hospital is critical. We remain hopeful that adequate budgetary provisions will be made to ensure the realization of this development. Budget provision for the construction of the Kongola Settlement Office are in place. A consultant will be on site to drive the process forward, and the plans are underway to initiate sewer and reticulation services. This development will mark a significant step forward in the region's infrastructure growth and the public health improvement. As part of this initiative, the partial servicing of 150 plots is prioritized, laying the groundwork for improved sanitation and better water accessibility. The region continues to advance its rural electrification agenda with the ongoing projects commissioned to ensure the electrification of the remaining 10 schools. These ongoing and planned activities reaffirm our commitment to ensure that every school in the region is connected to the national electricity grid, thereby improving the quality of education and the learning environments for all our learners across the region. The rehabilitation of Dr. Hage Gengop Street, the upgrading of Richard Muhinda and the Soweto Road, as well as the construction of stormwater reticulation system. These developments mark our commitment to building a region where every citizen has the opportunity to live, work, and prosper. And rehabilitation efforts are ongoing across several roads to improve safety and accessibility. The rehabilitation of critical section of B8 Trunk Road, specifically from Lubuta to Kongola checkpoint, has been identified and sanctioned as a priority intervention by Roads Authority. In conclusion, this address provided a comprehensive overview of the progress, challenges, and opportunities shaping our region. While we have made notable strides in areas such as infrastructure development, good governance, and external cooperation, persistent challenges continue to test our resilience and determination. Even so, we remain committed to addressing the needs of our communities through targeted interventions to ensure that no one is left behind. Let us reaffirm our collective responsibility this financial year to build a region that is not only prosperous, but also safe to welcome any development beneficial to all. Together, through dedication and the unity of purpose, we can transform our vision into tangible progress for the benefit of all. I extend my gratitude to all who contributed to the regional development. The journey ahead requires collective effort, dedication, and innovation. Let us commit ourselves afresh to build the Zambezi region that is vibrant, sustainable, and proud of its heritage. Let us move forward with determination and a shared sense of duty. Long live Zambezi, long live Namibia, and I thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Governor, for the State of the Region address. Let me now allow Honorable Masiku, the Councillor for Katima Urban Constituency, to give the vote of thanks. Honorable Masiku.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Governor, newly appointed Governor for that matter. Let me extend my sincere congratulations to you on behalf of all the regional councillors present in your new assignment, and we wish you well in your journey. And that we use the opportunity to make it clear that we avail ourselves at your disposal whenever needed. To all the honorable councillors present, the clarion call is very simple. We now know what is needed for us to succeed as a region.
Well, maybe there you heard the State of the Region address coming to you from the governor that was appointed on the 1st of July, Ms. Dorothy Kabula. Gentlemen, you're joining me again for the post-mortem. I think we had a very interesting conversation. We were predicting, we had hopes and expectations of what the governor is going to say. I'm joined by Mr. Alfred Ilukena, who is a former civil servant and obviously an analyst in terms of regional development here in the Zambezi region, and by Mr. Bayanga Chindo, who is the manager at the Zambezi TVET Center. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us again, making time out for this post-analysis. Let's start with you, Mr. Ilukena. Tell us, in terms of development, it's been pronounced that agriculture is the most important sector for development in this region. Do you agree with those sentiments?
Yes, I do. As sentiments, yes, I do. But the reality doesn't match the sentiments. Zambezi has a very rich soil. Indeed, it can be the bread basket of Namibia, the grain basket of Namibia. However, when you look at the actual investment in terms of realization of that ideal or idea, very little is happening on the ground, other than for the subsistence farming. But otherwise, in terms of major commercial farming in this region, The only area that I can refer to is Kalimbeza rice project. Plus, there is Zambezi, the Katima farm, I think, which is not yet fully operational. I mean, from the governor's statement, you heard an attempt was made, but it's not yet fully operational. So it hasn't realized any significant produce that would have impacted the market. So land is there, land is fertile, but investment in terms of
bottlenecks, that was going to be my question. What is the bottlenecks to get it in terms of scalability, maybe, if that's what we're talking about?
This is where, because I thought to hear from the statement as to where are the bottlenecks. Why are we always priding ourselves to say the grand basket of Namibia, we have the land, we have the water, everything, except for the farms that are supposed to be there. Where are the bottlenecks? Until we know where the bottlenecks are, I don't know what we are addressing.
But generally, from a macroeconomic kind of perspective, you know, when we're looking at things at scale, generally there are three bottlenecks. We have infrastructure, we have financing, and we have a skills deficit when we're unable to really turn something into a macroeconomic benefit. So let's maybe address those issues when it comes to the agricultural sector. What are some of the skills challenges coming from a training perspective that could hinder the scalability of agriculture to have a greater impact in the region?
It's not necessarily the skill shortage,
okay,
but the aspect of acquiring this land to be made available for the young people or for the graduate in the TVET sector is a situation where regional council should take the bull by the horn to say the traditional authorities who are the custodian of the land, they should avail land for development in terms of agriculture activities. The young people are being trained. We have graduated a good number of them. Okay. And some of them are from different institutions of higher learning. They have the agriculture expertise, but they don't have a land where they can study their farming. So in terms of green schemes, regional council can identify those areas, negotiate with the regional authority, make them available for the young people, and the young people can start. I saw the governor emphasize that is as another key area of, the area of where he's going to focus into for the next 5 years, agriculture.
Okay. So let's then talk about, you're talking about an enabler and who can open that door or who can unlock that opportunity. What role do we then share when you're identifying when it comes to the issue of land? We also know, there's a big park that's owned by the state, where agricultural activities might not be able to take place because of the wildlife that's in, for instance, the Babota National Park. So how do we increase the shared responsibility to ensuring that agriculture does actually become the key driver for development in this region?
I would argue for, you see, there is a dichotomy somewhere. Land, in terms of our constitution, the law of the land belongs to the state, if I'm right, because that's what the constitution states. Then traditional authorities administer the traditional land on behalf of the state. So if we want big or huge land to be made available, the state has the right because it belongs, the land belongs to the state. So it's a question of identifying which part of the country, which area in a region needs to be transformed into a hub for agriculture. Again, like my colleague said, I don't want to look at skills. Skills is the ability to perform because you have the means. You see, you have the skill, but you have, if you are not, if you don't have the means to perform, and in this case, the means of the production is the land. You need land for you to apply your skills. So if council, the regional government is saying they have a challenge in terms of upscaling agriculture, and if we can know that the bottleneck is the land, maybe that's where we need to start from. Address the question of land and make land available.
But recently the minister at a central level proposed the new reformed land bill. How significant is that? I mean, we also know that the regional council bill is being tabled and the local authority. So is it an issue of harmonization, or is it an issue, again, of ensuring that subnational government structures are in alignment, are in harmonization with, for instance, the legislation that's been proposed through the National Assembly and the National Council. What's your position in terms of how do we get to catapult, to fast track, to leapfrog the actualization?
Yeah, you know, as central government has put it clearly, the issue of land is an issue that needs a robust intervention, because we have the land boards in the regions, but if those people are not given the right direction in terms of mandate by law, they will be kept. So we need strategy in place where these land board members are given mandate in terms of their rights to execute their mandate. But if there are obstacles in the process, those obstacles must be identified as quickly as possible and make land available, especially in terms of green schemes. We cannot be talking about Kalimbeza now, which we've been talking for the past 20 years. And the Katima farm, that has been there and it died a natural death. But it's good that we are bringing it now, but we need more. The country is diverse, the region is diverse. We need more land for the people, and we need this land to be worked on as quickly as possible.
I like the word that you use, diverse, as well. Well, let's assume that, you know, even if agriculture is prioritized, that it cannot absorb all the, for instance, unemployed youth. You know, that there's other sectors that are important within the national development framework. The president has spoken particularly of issues around sports. They've spoken about tourism in this region, particularly logistics. What are the other opportunities beyond agriculture that people can access in this region?
Let me first start with the issue of youth. I listened very carefully. Okay, fine, I had I had to get out once or twice, so I may have missed this, but I listened carefully to the State of the Region address. And I don't know whether it's me or maybe I wasn't listening carefully, because the issue of the youth, I didn't hear it coming out prominently in the speech of the governor. And here we are talking about youth unemployment. And I thought it was going to be the central theme, particularly when it comes to the challenges based on the experiences that we went through in the previous financial year. Yeah. So that this time around, in the current financial year, we really want to see how we can bring the young people on board by exploring various measures. As you rightly indicated, the country is diverse, or the region has diverse activities that the youth can undertake. When we first, in the earlier segment that we were talking about, we said the strategic location of the region renders itself to youth participation in so many ways. That's why we referred to the sector of tourism. Yes. They can be, they will be there to manage these areas. I keep saying enablers. To me, the enablers that I'm looking at, it's not only the means, but you see, if I'm a young person, I have the skill, but I have no financial resources. Yes. How do you help
for your car?
Yes. How do you help me acquire the necessary means for me to kickstart so that I apply my mind and skills that I have? It's not good for me to pride myself and say I have a degree in agriculture, but I don't have access to land, and no one is willing to meet me halfway by saying, okay, you are good at agriculture, we'll give you 20 cents, we'll give you $20, can we use this $20 to develop? Let's see how far you can go.
But you've served, I mean, from your experience in public service, is there, sometimes when it comes to decision making, I always play with this notion of, instead of maybe trying to create an ecosystem, we are stuck in an ecosystem.
Indeed, we are. I fully agree.
Please talk to us a little bit about how we shift this ecosystem more to an ecosystem.
That's the thing, because it bothers me that we keep talking about youth unemployment, until we realize that the youth we are talking about need assistance. It's not just a question of talking and say, no, we'll make jobs available for the youth and we'll do this for the youth, we'll do that. We are saying not everyone is designed to be employed in the formal sector. Not everybody is designed to be a university graduate. God created us and gave us, our talents that we need to explore and fulfill. And if that's the case, all we are saying is when you see I'm inclined towards this, all I'm asking for is can you empower me to achieve that, which is by design something that I can do. So let's look at it from as a paradigm shift.
But in that paradigm shift and moving maybe into this idea of not just providing young people with service delivery, but with systems that deliver, what can we speak to are the pathways for young people in this region? You spoke largely about agriculture, but you're sitting at a training institution, you've inferred tourism. What are the pathways for people to get those opportunities, for them to enhance their livelihoods, essentially for the people of the Zambezi region to have dignity?
You know, I stated this earlier, that the aspect of skills when you acquire them and you want to utilize them the best, the simplest mechanism is the grassroots level, where these people are coming from. We need to create economic opportunities there so that not all the youth can leave their homes and come to the towns, but we should create an umbrella where there are opportunities for economic development at the grassroots level. Now, when we talk about youth empowerment, with the SORA address, you can see that there's only a small margin in terms of money that was earmarked for the youth in terms of empowerment. We want to see that the regional council puts more in terms of budgeting for the programs of the youth. But the target is, let's start from the grassroots level. When we are there, those people in the rural areas cannot come here and create and take the opportunities for people in town.
Let's look at grassroots, for instance. We spoke about agriculture, you spoke about, what do we need as enablers, not just equipment, but land being a big obstacle. But tourism. What are the bottlenecks in tourism, for instance?
For example, all the tourism facilities, the lodges, are found in the rural communities. So when we have access roads to those rural communities, when we have clinics to those rural communities, we create opportunities for people to be centralized there, and we create opportunities for themselves in terms of economic development. And these people we are graduating in hospitality and tourism, they are going to be managers in those lodges there. But secondly as well...
But is that a challenge, for instance? You're speaking about just not being an employing seeker, but when we speak of tourism, is the notion of ownership,
yes,
is it supported at a regional context?
But, when we talk about the setup for tourism, even our people that we graduate, those who want to set up the same structures as others have set up, they will do it in the grassroots level. So which means we need to empower them with the skills, but the funding as well, as my senior has said, the funding for them to establish those economic values in their communities. So we are looking in that direction, but it's good. The governor also alluded to the aspect of signing an MOU with Chove. Chove district has a good locality in terms of tourism. The Kasani is a hub for tourism. So that on its own, we are going to benefit both our trainees at the institution and the young people here will benefit to do that because they have done well in tourism.
And I think this is a very interesting, in terms of the market share when particularly it comes to the tourism sector. And the fundamental question is, if there is this level of unemployment or poverty or inequality, who benefits from the returns of issues like tourism or the sectors like tourism? And how do we ensure that there's a greater promotion for ownership, particularly of young people, not just to go be employed, not just to provide a service or a product, but to own some of the services? How do we ensure that, Mr. Ilukeni?
Now, look, I like the way the current thinking. I've always harbored this notion to say, who am I? I started from that question. If I answer the question to say I am a Namibian, I ask the next question, what makes me think I am a Namibian? Is being a Namibian just by name? Or is it because I own Namibia? I have the resources of Namibia, both underground, in the water, and everywhere else. They are mine. So the entry point to anything that is resource-based in my country is through me. So I ask myself, what is being Namibian? The young people that we're talking about here, if you look at, if they were to go and work in lodges, they are workers. Working in lodges enriching someone else and not themselves, being paid peanut, while someone else is benefiting from their resources. And this is where I have a problem. I keep asking to say, who should determine the direction in which, or the destination of the vehicle? Is it the passenger or the owner of the vehicle who is on the road to say, now I'm going to Windhoek? Should the passenger determine the destination for me and say, excuse me, Mr. Elkena, I don't want you to go to Windhoek. Take me this, and the car is mine, the fuel is mine, everything is mine. I think I should be in a position to dictate. I'm going to Windhoek, either you come with me or find another means to get to wherever you are going.
So then conservation, who should benefit from it?
It should be us as Namibians, our young people, the youth that are unemployed. All I'm saying is that there are various ways you can do it. You want to construct a lodge. I would want to make it a condition to say, yes, but I want a co-owner who is a young person that will work with you, even if we agree on a lease. I want to pay you with someone, a young person who will grow into that business with you. There comes a time when you have to go back to wherever you came from, and someone else has to take. We can't be restarting and reinventing the wheel every time because we have lost control of our resources. So when someone comes and invests and they do whatever it is, they get what they came for, they leave, the whole thing collapses. When you have leadership that is individually and not collective, then you have a problem. You know your country has a problem. So that's what we are saying, create a pool where you have, these are the sectors of our economy, and make sure that in every sector you have your local people in there. Even if someone comes and invests and they leave, you will still be able to sustain that sector. It doesn't collapse because the initial investor has left.
Closing remarks, we've heard the SORA.
Yes.
What are the expectations from the Office of the Governor?
In my closing remarks, I will touch on the aspect of health. That had been a really big issue for Zambezi as a region. The Katima Little State Hospital, in terms of upgrading to the intermediate hospital, where all different clinics from the region will be referring their patients there, it's a milestone on its own. You know, health is so critical. Without health, it means you are nothing. So it's a good intervention that I saw from the governor. And at the same time, let's also appreciate the aspect of, in terms of education, the schools that are coming on the ground in terms of new schools, in terms of renovating those which are already there. So I think that is a call of appreciation. I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Zambezi being the last region, I believe, in the SORA business, I think I also have to say, because what I'm going to say now is not only limited to Zambezi, but it's what I have observed right through. Can you tell me, during this SORA presentation, whether or not you had the total budget that was allocated to Zambezi region? Did you hear how much was allocated by central government to Zambezi region? Because you
spoke earlier about the fact that we haven't devolved completely, that we might still be at the level of deconcentration. So maybe that figure aligns with the current system status.
Yes, but how do you account to the residents of the Zambezi region when they don't even know what was given to them? All I'm saying is that for me, I find it a bit odd that you come and report, this is what we have done, when your citizens that you are responsible for don't even know what it is that you are doing. So it would have been nice if we take all the line ministries, the regional council doesn't have, it shouldn't be allocated a budget. The budget is allocated to directorates that are decentralized, that are operating in here. That budget is what forms the regional budget. So that initially, once the national budget debate and everything has been completed, this region puts together that which has been allocated
at the regional level.
Present it to the people so that the people can hold the regional council, the regional government accountable, because they have said, in education, this is what is going to be done. In agriculture, this is what is going to be, so much for this, so much for that. When you are reporting at the SORA, you are now, people are looking at, hey, you said so much was allocated, and these were the projects that were going to be done during this financial year. What happened to this one? What happened to this one? As of now, we are very grateful that a lot has happened. But
So
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
that it's too disaggregated.
Yes.
We need a more aggregated figure that represents
That
the total
enables
public
me-
adventure from entire government into the region.
I really want to see that picture of accountability emerging. For now, when I look at it, I have a problem to say, what am I accounting for? If I was reporting on what was allocated to this region in terms of aggregate number, based on the different directors that are operational and the projects that were identified centrally and whatever, I have a classification of donor funding, central government, what. So I know all these things. I'm looking at this holistically and answer the question, have we achieved everything that we have set ourselves to achieve in terms of the development budget?
Would you then say that the SORA is it's a little bit more qualitative in its assessment versus than quantitative?
I would say it's more quantitative.
Okay.
Yeah, because now you are saying we constructed this road, we have built this hospital, but I have no idea because I didn't know how much this road costed us, and I didn't even know that we were going
So
to
just
construct
quantified, they haven't qualified a lot of the
Yes.
impact, for instance, on the people as well.
Yes.
But I think it's room for, there's room for improvement. You know, it's a new leadership in place, so we can give it the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
I think come SORA 2026, we want to see issues that were raised today as targets to be realized. And then if they are not realized, why are they not realized? And then I think the direction my senior is putting is that the Regional Council has the mandate to share to the public what is entrusted in them in terms of funding, and how did they do that, how did they allocate in terms of priorities for that funding, and what did they yield? What are the challenges? How can they remedy those challenges? So this is the direction that we are trying to put across in terms of accountability.
Very clear. Any last message?
It's to just wish the Zambezi region and the new leadership all the best. We always say, us as citizens of this region, I think are ready. We have diverse skills. We may have retired, we are back home, but it doesn't mean we are tired. And wherever we are required to assist, we are always willing to do so. So if we understand leadership to be a collective and wisdom to be available wherever, in whichever corner you are looking for, I think together we can move, we can go very far. You know, remember that expression, alone,
If you want to go fast.
you go alone.
Yeah.
But if we want to, and this
Yeah.
is what we want, that's what we would like to see happen.
In truth, Zambezi formed a very intellectual summation there. Obviously, this region is known not just for its biodiversity, but I think for its human resources and the contribution that it has made towards the national development. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I think a very meaningful discussion that was not just framed about the dynamics of Zambezi, but I think it's applicable to so many other regions in the effort of making Namibians acknowledge that a regional subnational governance is as important to their lives, particularly when it comes to bringing services closer to the people. So thank you very much for being able to tell us what's working and what's not working so well in the region. And maybe there you have it. That was another SORA coming to you live from the Zambezi Regional Council here in the heart of the Zambezi region, that is the capital, Katima Mulilo. We were able to listen to the speech. The gentlemen in the post-mortem were able to tell us what's worked, what hasn't worked, and all we can say is that subnational governance, regional councils play a key and critical role in the lives and the livelihoods of us Namibians. We'll be bringing you another live SORA tomorrow morning, and we'll be coming to you from Rundu. So please do join us for that. From myself, Patrick Sam, the entire NBC team that's traveling the country to make sure that you are informed. We are here to say goodbye.
NBC3 is bringing you an exciting experience to put you at the center of it all with a dose of exciting movies. Enjoy your extra moments with a variety of dramas, soapies, kiddies, music, and many more. From Mondays to Sundays, catch NBC3 on Channel 103. NBC3, your home of entertainment.
What on earth is going on, Skitla?
Skitla, man. Can't you hear now?
Shut up, Mantula!
azokhuluma nami kanje ngathi ukhuluma nempinjami ungangijwayele kakwe.
Makadem careful naseplifto.
Is he married? No, ew.
Uthi woza kuye uzokuthula yonke into. Hey.
Angicabanga akumelanga uyacabanga kakade. Xa undijongile sisi engathi umfazi onje nami. Azongijayela kabi neza. Thembanga ncane. Olungisa into zakho mntana.
So what's this? And did something happen?
No, nothing happened.
Baby.
Welcome to Namibia Connect on this Wednesday morning. My name is Selima Henok, and I will be with you for the next hour or so. We'll be back with headlines. Now, first up, 405 veterans have been notified of their successful applications granted by the Veterans Appeal Board. This was revealed by President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah when recapping the first 100 days of the 8th administration. The applications of 405 veterans were previously rejected by the Veterans Board, prompting them to